What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to this week's episode of Smart Money Sundays. I hope you're doing very well and had a decent week in the markets. Personally, I didn't really see much that I liked, and it's kind of been the theme the last couple of weeks. And personally, I like to see layup setups, what I call layup setups that just kind of scream out to me, hey, buy me or sell me, right? And really haven't had that the last couple of weeks, and that's just part of the game, right? That's part of the market cycle. You're not always going to get beautiful setups every single week, okay? And so when you kind of start to see that theme and maybe a couple strings of losses, that's when you have to just immediately step back and say, look, hey, these aren't my textbook setups. There's no point in forcing trades. Let the trades come to me and be patient with it, okay? And so that's kind of the approach I'm going to be taking this week. I don't want to jump into anything prematurely or force any setups that just aren't there yet. Okay, but obviously on EU last week, I talked about how I wanted to run the previous week's low and then trade up through, and I wanted to engulf the body here. Okay, and I thought that was going to happen, and sure enough, we did trade decently higher through the open of the prior week, but then we retreated. Okay, and so like I always say, everything is subject to change. And the reason I knew that this was going to happen, that we weren't going to sustain higher, is because if you look down on the lower time frames here, this is just simply not a low in the market. Okay, this price action here, it's very choppy. There's no real volume-based liquidity run, no real type of accumulation. So when I saw we started pushing higher, immediately I knew, okay, we're going to make another run lower. Okay, because this is not a low in the market. Okay, and so sure enough, we did trade significantly higher, which was nice to see a retracement on EU, but ultimately we traded back down to close the week. Okay, and so in terms of the here and now, what I'd like to see on EU is kind of stair-stepping back down. Okay, you can see the run on this high. Okay, the buy to sell. Okay, ran the high, and the mitigation here. Okay, the high, low, run the high, mitigate, new low. Okay, so I kind of want to just keep seeing us stair step down and run through this liquidity here. Whether or not we maintain this low, personally, there's not enough here to confirm that this is going to be the low. Okay, so I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we ran it again. Ran the liquidity resting beneath this low. Okay, honestly, that would be the more probable outcome in my opinion. Okay, but really just looking to follow this mitigation train. Okay, you can see the short-term liquidity run here. Okay, the initial run lower through previous day's low. Okay, and then the run higher to mitigate, new low. Okay, so this now becomes kind of our range in terms of a POI. Okay, so if we can pull back into this area, I'd like to see continued shorts down on EU. Okay, so relatively simple. I mean, you can see it on the 3 hour, probably the 2 hour as well. Yep, 90-minute, probably something on the lower time frame within this candlestick right here. Okay, and so just following simple lower time frame structure back down into our lows here. Sorry guys. Anyway, that's EU. Next up, as usual, GBP USD. Okay, now I don't really want to touch this thing yet. Obviously, we talked about last week digging down into this kind of weekly down close, that last down close before the significant rally to the upside. Okay, so we are trading into this region. Okay, I believe I mentioned 1.3 was kind of my POI for starting to look for some accumulation. Okay. Okay. So we haven't traded into 1.3 yet. So I'm going to be looking 1.3, 1.2950 area to start looking for signs of a reversal. Okay, and we're going to need to be patient with this. Okay, and kind of sit on our hands and wait. Okay, because trading reversals obviously is not as highly probable as trading continuations. Okay, but the fact that we are getting down into deep discount into our higher time frame POI kind of starts to turn me off of trading continuations. Okay, we took a trade last week, okay, for a continuation down just to run this liquidity here, which we obviously did. But it's getting to that point where it's like, okay, let's just wait and see what kind of price action we print here. Okay, what do they give us? Okay, maybe one more, something like this, where we run the high here. Okay, run the high, run the low, accumulate, run the low, run the high, and then get some type of long position. Okay, but as it stands right now, there really is nothing here on GU that stands out. Just let it trade a little deeper into 1.3, round number 1.2950, and we'll wait for that kind of probably midweek reversal. Okay, and trade at least into, once we break structure, initial targets are going to be, okay, this area. Okay, so that is GBP USD. Again, you can see it's just not a lot of kind of decent solid wave play, right? It's been a lot of choppiness and then random strong movements, and it's just, not ideal price action. And that's okay. Okay, when you get ideal price action on one pair, you're likely to have it on multiple others and catch beautiful ROI on your account. Okay, so that is GU, and the last one I kind of want to cover today is going to be EuroCAD. Okay, this one obviously had a massive sell-off. Okay, and we had the higher time frame retracement, and we pretty much did the same thing as EU. Okay, closed lower or closed back down on the week. Okay, and so I'm really kind of just liking this area here for stair-stepping back down to target ultimately this low here, but you could honestly target the lower time frame down close here that ran this low. Okay, but that would be what I would be looking for on EuroCAD. Now, if we do breach through this level, which I wouldn't expect because this ran liquidity, it's no wick on the open, nice clean buy to sell. But if we do, then we obviously have kind of this area as well. Okay, but pretty simple here on the Euro pairs, just kind of stair-stepping our way back down to, yeah, here's that down close, but to ultimately target the liquidity resting beneath the higher time frame low again. All right, so you probably see this looks pretty clean. All right, I like that. So let's get time and price. Hopefully this trades up here, maybe London Open or New York Open, and then we can get a nice shorting opportunity back down, targeting these lows. Okay, 3,800, 3,750 area. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video. Again, brief, but kind of to the point. You mark off some of these levels on your charts. Hopefully this week presents better wave play than we've seen the last couple of weeks, and we can start getting some really clean entries and clean RR on these trades while we await some higher time frame reversals. All right, thank you and have a great week.